Welcome back to more Summoner's War Monster Strategies. Today we're going to be looking at the Light Vagabond known as Darion. Darion is perhaps, well, the most well-known Vagabond in the entire game, just because he is the most used, and for a very good reason. His passive. Well, I mean, it's really his passive in combination with his other skills, which just make him really good. But overall, it's his passive that makes him the most useful of the Vagabonds, generally. So, before I talk about his skills and runes, let's go ahead and talk about the stats as a level 46 star, and they are as follows. They are 10,710 HP, 549 attack, 549 defense, and 98 speed. As you can see, the attack and defense stat are literally the exact same number. His HP is over 10,000, actually pretty close to 11,000, and he has 549 defense. Overall, pretty good tank. Not amazing tank in terms of stats, but pretty good. I mean, there are better tanks in terms of stats. But if you give him the right runes, this guy can still be a massive tank, and actually, he must be a massive tank because of his passive. So, let's now talk about his skills. First one, Slash Rocks. And it says, swings a giant sword to deal damage and decrease the target's defense for 2 turns with a 40% chance. This attack will deal more damage according to your max HP. Second one, Slash Waves. Attacks an enemy with a sword 2 times, each attack has a 30% chance to decrease the target's attack power for 2 turns. Okay, not bad, right? And the third one, Knighthood. It's a passive. Decreases the damage that all other allies receive by 15%. This effect won't add up to other damage reduction effects. This skill, this passive, is the main reason why Darion has such good utility in the game. I will say, the utility of the Vagabonds, not just Darion, but all Vagabonds, has slowly declined a bit over the years, but with that being said, he is still a great monster. He really is. You know, he is usually considered a key component monster in getting Guardian, really, you know, in Arena, or at least, you know, the rank before that. But I mean, again, I'm not saying he's mandatory, but he's definitely extremely helpful. He is. And people know why, but again, I'll be talking about him in this video just a bit more in further detail. But let's now talk about his runes. So, it's actually pretty interesting with this guy because, first of all, everybody would say to just make him extremely tanky by going all energy and then HP, HP, HP. And honestly, that setup does work. It does work. So if you want to do that, you know, 6 energy, HP, HP, HP in slots 2, 4, and 6 respectively, it'll work. Trust me. But the thing is, even though that will work, it's not considered to be the most useful. There is actually another recommendation that is considered at least a bit more useful. Now let's talk about that one. That one is actually by utilizing Violent with Revenge, or you can use Violent Energy, but the point is use Violent, you know, if you want. I mean, it'll usually make it better. But yeah, Violent Revenge or Violent Energy with critical damage in slot 4. Why critical damage? You know, that's actually a pretty good question, and a lot of people don't really consider the statistical numbers in this way, but basically, if you give him critical damage, you know, skill number 1 gets buffed up with more HP. So if you give him a lot of HP, you know, whether it's 1 energy set and then energy in 2 and 6, in combination with critical damage, that's some pretty good damage. It is pretty massive damage, I must say, because his first skill will actually be very powerful, simply because you have a ton, I must say, a ton of HP, and then critical damage on him. So the multiplier just goes insane with that. If you give him attack over critical damage, the damage is considerably less because his attack stat is not being worked on, and that sucks. So critical damage, but again, if you want to go all HP, feel free to do it. It's just that some people say that the true endgame setup would be Violent with Revenge or Energy, and then you want to put, you know, critical damage, although people would say Revenge over Energy for true endgame, because you're going to be countering with a move that is proportionate to your attack with massive damage with critical damage, so that's the combination. And remember that on top of that, the entire time, Darion is protecting his team by reducing 15% damage, so very useful. Very, very useful monster. So, as far as substats go, it's really those stats like I just said, you know, obviously a lot of HP, and obviously speed. And, I mean, more critical damage if you want, but actually you want to work on critical rate too, you know, to get it up there so the critical damage can work a lot. But that's pretty much how Darion is, you know. Like I said, easily regarded as the most useful Vagabond in the entire game, from the 5. In second place would be either Jubel or Cayenne, mostly Jubel, and I will be talking about that in the next episode. But yeah, so if you have any rune recommendations, go ahead and leave a comment. You know, if you agree or disagree with these setups that I put, or if you have your own recommendation, you know, go ahead and leave that too. People would appreciate that, surely. Also, if you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to leave a like. I would gladly appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I will see you all next time.